And welcome to the Apex Lifestyles Podcast. I'm your host, Bob GDMD, and I'm here with my co-host, as always,
Dennis V. How you doing, Bob?
I'm doing great. We have a great show for you today. We have a local legend here, 7-time New England Cruiserweight champion, Joey Hightower Edmonds. How you doing, Joey? Thanks for coming in.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Bob.
Awesome. So today we're going to talk about, everything it takes to become a professional boxer. So you have a professional record of 9-0 and 8 by knockout. That's right?
That is correct.
Unbelievable. And you hail here from our fighting city of Worcester, Massachusetts, yes?
Yes.
Awesome. So what I'd love to do is just kind of, what do you have in your lap there?
Oh, this is my Cruiserweight championship that I won 2023, about a year ago.
Yeah, hold that up so the camera can see it. Look at that thing.
It's incredible.
It's beautiful, right? How's it feel to be a champ?
It's undescribable. It's just a feeling that, you have to be there. You have to feel it. You have to get there, and it just so much enjoyment and greatness.
So cool. Let's talk about. I really want to delve into mindset and what it takes to become, a champion, and what it takes to become a pro boxer. Right? It takes every day choosing to get up and do the reps and do the run. Maybe run twice a day, plus get in the gym, plus eat properly, and maybe even cut weight depending on what weight class you're going to fight in. Because I think you go bit in between cruiserweight and heavyweight, correct?
Yes. It's more like off season time or when I'm not training for a fight. Yeah, I'm walking around like about heavyweight, and then I drop down to cruiserweight, which is 200. So.
Yeah. So you were telling me that you spar with almost primarily like heavyweights, right?
Yeah, that's mainly it. There's only just heavyweights around for me to spar. I can't spar anyone of my size, really.
Yeah, because you're knocking them all out, right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, how did you get started as a young kid? Let's talk about your early life. How did you get started in boxing? Like, what brought you there?
Originally, when I first thought about boxing is when I went to the Boys and Girls Club one day with one of my best friends, and we were playing basketball. He said, "Oh, you want to play basketball?" So we're playing basketball. And then he said, "Oh, let's go upstairs and lift some weights."
Is this when you met Carlos?
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Right.
So I went upstairs and we lifted some weights. And I'm just lifting, benching the whole thing because it's easy because it's assisted, right?
Yeah,
so I'm benching the whole thing. It was like 270 pounds.
And you were, what, 12 years old, 13 years
13 years old, 13 years old.
It's a lot of weight for a 13-year-old
for
sure. around.
And how much did you weigh at the time?
I was actually 214. So
so you were benching your weight.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then Carlos comes up to me, short little man's like, wow, homeboy,
Wait a
you're big.
minute. You weighed 200 pounds at 13 years old?
Yeah.
You're a big 13-year-old boy, man. I mean, you're tall. Like, we were standing outside, and, I'm 5'10", and you're just towering over me.
Yeah.
It made me look like a dwarf, so,
I've known Joey since he was 14. I was teaching at the same high school he was at, and he walked in the door, same height, same build, and
Yeah, that's some genetics there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
He comes from my mom's side, get some height there. So.
Yeah, you're blessed, for sure.
But yeah, so, and he's like, wow, homeboy, you're big. You should do boxing. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, I've been in a few street fights and the adrenaline. You love the adrenaline rush. It's just like, wow, it's a lot of adrenaline going on. So I was like, okay, I'll try boxing. Let's see how it goes. And started fighting, competing, traveling, winning. I would get gear. I would get different type of gloves, like all this new stuff just from like traveling and winning. So I was like, all right, I'll keep doing this. And then
that was self-fulfilling, right?
Yeah, it was just
little carrots along the way.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just loved it after that. Like I just stuck with it and loved it, like till this day, and still love it.
Yeah, cool. So tell me about your coaches, Carlos and Rocky.
Carlos. So Carlos was my first original coach. He's retired now. He's still around in the gym, like he still shows up, and train us sometimes. But Carlos, this. Originally, I think when I first met him, he was like 50 something, and just this old man that was very wise, very wise. I looked up to him like a father figure. He just knew like that. He believed in me. I not that I didn't believe in myself, but he just knew that what I can do and that I can be great as long as I stay on the right path, do what I need to do. And he's always believed that I would do great because I was never the one that got kicked out of the gym. I wasn't doing stuff that, gets me into trouble. And he just believed in me that I would do good.
Yeah,
I was
you
always
followed
doing
the
good.
rule. You were a rule follower. it
Yeah,
sounds like.
I was. Yeah,
cool.
so, and he's seen that I trained hard. I always worked hard. And this man just helped me grow, to be the best version of myself that I can be. And just to know to guide and lead others. Like, he was a big influence in my life at that age that showed me that I have to lead, I have to guide, I have to believe in myself that I can be the best version of myself. So a lot of credit to Carlos.
Yeah, so he seeded that early about believing in yourself, and that's so like instrumental in a kid's self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
And you said it earlier. You said he was like a father figure. So tell me about like your early life. Did you have a father figure, or was he like a surrogate? Like, how did that go down?
So yes, I did have a father, and
Well, everybody has
right,
one.
I have one.
Was he in your life?
He was not. He was not. Early age 5. The last time I seen him prior to that was pretty much around that age, 5 years old, and the way that everything was going, situation, like, my mother not doing what she needed to do, and she was struggling with alcohol and substance abuse, and my father knew. And he kind of he wanted to take me from her. And I didn't want to do that because obviously I lived with my mom for the whole entire time. And she didn't want to let me go. So after that, he didn't really stay involved. Like, he just left and kind of just was not in the picture. And then,
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. And it was a tough time, but I do remember, but I just, again, I didn't think of it too much. Like, obviously, like, I was happy to be with my mom, no matter what, that's my mother. And it was just after that, like, the way things were going, I knew it was going to get worse. But at a young age, I just always believed that it was going to get better. No matter what happened, can be the worst situation, it's only up. So it's going to get better from where we are.
It was. I think you said it was 5 years old
Mm-hmm.
when your dad stepped away. Those are your formative developmental years. Yeah. And what was the absence like? And when you started to work with Carlos and Rocky, did you attach to that a little bit?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Not having that father figure, like that role model, especially to see it from them, like, it was just like right away. It was a right away thing. Always, around Carlos, no matter what, I just seen him as that. He was my father, pretty much.
Now, Carlos, you put the name of Carlos Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty big. He's trained some, outside of you,
Yeah.
who's really big, he's trained some really, really good fighters and champions. Do you want to talk a little bit about his resume and what he brings to you?
Yeah, one of the big ones, most recent, Edwin Rodriguez. Actually, prior to that, Carlos got me involved with him because I was part of DCF, state custody, and he was taking in like children to house with him and stuff. And I stayed with him for 6 months, and it was another great experience. He was a really great guy. He, again, believed in me. Everybody around me always believed in me that I was going to do great things. So he was another very good influence in my life, and
So did you guys just talk boxing at home all day?
Yeah, we just chilled,
right.
And then, after school, do my work, and then after school, we just talk boxing, hang out, go on runs together and stuff like that.
Man.
Yeah,
so
it was like
you got some hustle muscle from him too,
mm-hmm,
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was great training together and stuff. It was really good. It was nice, and that was just those were very pivotal moments in my life. Edwin, Carlos, Rocky, those guys.
Yeah.
So what did it feel like to have somebody believe in you? And did you, first of all, when you started, did you believe in yourself?
I had some belief that I was gonna be great, but you don't I'm not really a boastful guy, right? So I'm not like thinking like, oh, I'm gonna be the best. I'm gonna be the best. Like, you always have that self-doubt, like, I'm gonna try my best and I'm gonna do my best, but like, whatever happens, happens. But for them, like Carlos, Rocky, Edwin, like, they're like, you're gonna be great. You're gonna do great things. Like, you have to just push hard, be the best version of yourself you can be. And to have that support is that's your building. That's your building blocks. You know, that's where you're stemming from, and to have that much support behind you, you feel like you can conquer the world. Nothing can get in your way.
Well, what's interesting is, as a follow-up question, you had some serious obstacles, and you had some serious challenges at a young age that you had to fight through. How did fighting through those challenges at a younger age prepare you for the rigors of being a boxing champion and going through the amateur ranks, as Bob said, killing it, and now you're a professional? Did those obstacles help prepare you?
1,000,000%. I can't even describe, like, just growing up having those obstacles in the way. Like, there was times, like, again, no food, you know, we didn't know we were sleeping for the night. You know, my mom's not home. My older sister was pretty much like another mother to me, taking care of us. You know, we'd had to find, you know, food to eat and stuff like that. And it was just not a good time. But going through those, I realized that, like, wow, like, I had to go through these trials and tribulations and grow from that. And that, like, me going through those, I feel like I can conquer anything. Like, there's nothing that can really get in my way. That, you know, especially at a young age, knowing that I needed to be better or get to that place in life where it's going to be better, there's nothing that can stop me. And that definitely helped me going forward. To me, it's a mindset that's just like, I can't slow down. I have to keep going. I have to keep moving no matter what. And I got to be the best version of myself. So in terms of that translating to boxing, the same thing. Like, I got to be better than the next person. So I'm doing everything double what they're doing. I'm being the better person in that ring. I'm going to be the best, you know, gentleman, you know, because I'm not going to be mad if anything goes not my way, right? But I'm going to be the best boxer, the best fighter, the smarter fighter, right? I'm going to just be that person in every aspect. So that's kind of like what me going through life created, that I have to be the best at my top, the top of whatever I'm doing. And that's boxing, so, which I love, so.
Yeah, no, that's that self-belief, I think, is the bedrock for confidence, you know, and that confidence is what helps with self-esteem and all that stuff. I think, you know, anyone is going to be, you know, a successful boxer or success in life, they have to build that bedrock of self-esteem. And it seems like, you know, you can do one of two things if growing up the way you did. You can either become the villain or you can become the hero, and I think you chose the hero's path, I mean, for sure. So, and just standing around you, I can feel the vibe coming off you. It's just one of positivity, and I think we hit it off really, you know, I just met, you've known Dennis for a long time, but I've just met you, and I can feel that vibe. It's just amazing, so.
You know what amazes me is I've known you since you were 14 years old. You're going through everything that you're talking about. And even till recently, I didn't really understand what you went through. And you're sitting here as a positive young man. You always had a smile. Nobody ever had any idea what was going on with you. And you just always stayed focused, stayed positive. You never acted up, never acted out. Amazing job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And now you're a teacher. You're giving back to the community, giving back to students that have some struggles as well. Why did you choose that?
That's, again, like that during that age, right? You know, like 16, 15, like that teen, like early teen years is the time where you need that most influence. I feel like that's when they need it the most. Obviously, younger years is good too, but like that time is like sometimes you sway off the path. You're not going on the right direction, and you know you can really guide those kids, those students, especially if you can relate. You know, because I know a lot of them are going through just as worse, or even not worse than what I've been through, and that's kind of what they need the most support, and that's why I feel, you know, that's why I'm a teacher, because it's the best feeling to have them, you know, get through that situation that they're in, and then show them that, you know, it's going to be better.
What if they don't listen to you and listen to that message? Because, you know, we work in the trenches, and if they don't listen, is it hard not to give up? What's your approach to try to kind of get through?
Well, you got to try a million times. I'm going to keep trying. I might have to try a million different ways, but eventually I'm gonna get through it somehow. You know, it takes time. Everything takes time. You know,
It's grit.
don't become. Yeah, it is grit. You don't become. I won't become a champion overnight. You know, just one fight and just champion. No, you gotta work grit. It's the time and effort you put in. And being a teacher, you can't. Obviously, it's gonna be those rough days where kids ain't gonna listen to you. They're not gonna listen to anything you say. They know better than you, right?
Yeah,
So
we're
it's
all
just
there.
Right.
For sure.
But you have to just keep working with them, showing them, and it's patience. Time.
Every day's a new day.
It is.
Rocky. You mentioned Rocky's name.
Yeah, with a name like Rocky, what else can you do? I mean, you got to be a boxing coach, right?
Yeah, one of the best around. Rocky. He just, again, he upped my game too, like mentally, physically, everything. When he came into the picture, this is like an older brother to me, and he. Like my boxing, because mind you, I was a 2-time national champion. The first time, I meet this guy, and like he
So
just
you were thinking you were
right. I thought I was the
king.
top, yeah.
Yeah.
And he came in and just showed me all these new things and taught me all these great skills, life skills too, like just mentally, and him, he brings a style of like he's a jokester, so he'll joke around, but when he jokes.
There's a bit of truth in it.
It is a bit of truth, and
he
then you
pushes the
realize,
right
right?
button.
It does
Yeah.
push. So you realize you're like, man, like, he's annoying, but then like, he's right. All right, I have to do this better. I have to be better at this, and that created a whole different like dynamic for even just our boxing group that we had, and everybody just got better and stronger, faster, everything mentally, and he was another great influence in my life, and outside, like we've been on many trips together, like fighting trips and just journeys around because
Where have you been? You fought all over the world almost, right?
So I fought in pretty much everywhere in the United States, and then I fought in Colombia and Dominican Republic.
Yeah, I was going to say you were in South America at one point, from what I remember. Yeah.
Yep.
That's amazing. Let's talk about the ring a little bit, right?
Okay.
So I have a couple of questions from my lovely at home, right? The first was, how do you get in the ring knowing that you're going to receive a hit and it's probably going to hurt? So how do you consciously step into the ring knowing that that's going to happen and override your own safety switches that say, don't do this?
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that anybody, well, first I want to go back to what you mentioned earlier about becoming a professional, that anybody can step in the ring, right? It takes a lot of gut. To
Yes,
do that.
grit,
Anybody,
gut,
right,
all of it, yeah.
Like anybody step in, because I've seen people that go in, they train real hard, and when they get in there, they freeze. I've seen people freeze up. They don't throw no punches or anything like that. I've seen people also not get in the ring. They just leave, right? And anybody can become a professional, but to be good and work hard it's a different like mindset you have to have, because you could just get in there and just get beat up, right? But it's a lot of grit and grind. But if you going forward, just work really hard. No matter what, you can be great. You might not be the greatest because you might not have the athletic skill, but you just work real hard and you can be great. But to answer that question now, when I get in the ring, I'm not thinking about he's gonna hit me, it's gonna hurt. Like, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about how am I gonna hit him first,
right,
and get him out of there so I can't get hurt. So it's just mental preparation of like, I got to be the best. I got to make sure I'm not the one getting hit, right? I'm going to make sure my hands are up. I'm going to make sure I have fast reflexes, that I'm on my A game, I'm focused. Everything is locked in mode, right? Because I'm grinding. So I'm not going to have the guy hit me and I'm like, oh, well, I just got hit and now I'm going to be worried about it. He'll hit me.
Can you actually feel it when you're getting hit in the moment, or is it not until later that you actually feel it?
Most times you don't feel it until you if it's a good shot and it like dazes you, then it's like, all right, you felt that. But most times you get hit and then you're coming back right away. That's my thing, is that like when I get hit, right, if he hits me with 1, I'm gonna hit him with 3, 4, 5. So my thing is like, if I get hit with a shot, I'm gonna just keep going and get mine back. But yeah, most times it's like you get hit, you don't really feel it then.
Yeah.
Unless it's a really good shot that dazes you. But you don't feel it then, and afterward, then you have like, your jaw might be a little sore, you might have a little bruise on your eye or something. But most times you don't really feel it until like afterward.
Yeah. And then she had another question was, if you really hurt someone in the ring, do you ever have remorse over that?
Afterward, when I'm in the ring, no, I don't, because I'm trying to get you out of there, because I don't want to be the one on the receiving end of getting me out of there. So I want to be first, and I'm going to hurt you first. That's the game plan, is for me to get what I need to get done. And if that's getting you out of there in the first 10 seconds, so be it.
Makes quick night of it.
Exactly, just quick, right? Yeah. And, I don't want to waste any time, because then that could be something that you can land on me that might hurt me, right? If I just get you out of there, there's no point. But if at the end, right, like I see the guys hurt, knocked down, or like they took some time to get up, right? I do feel bad. I have a little bit of remorse, like, but at the end of the day, that we're trying to hurt each other.
And
it's part of the sport.
You both signed up for it.
Exactly.
You know what you're getting into.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so it comes with it.
So now you're about to knock out your 8th opponent, professional opponent, right? How do you know you landed the hit? How do you know he's going to sleep? When do you know? Like, when do you know you're like, yep, that was it, and you start walking to the white corner?
Most times it's usually when you hit him with a good shot, the equilibrium obviously get messed up. So it's the feet. You notice the feet. If the feet wobble or like they lose their balance for a second, that's most times when you know they're gonna go. So if they're not getting a standard 8 count from the ref, and like they're already like wobbly, you just hit them with a few more punches and they're gone. They're out. So most times that's how I know. Like I see it, or sometimes you can almost see it in their eyes. Right, you hit them, and then their eyes start like, losing focus. It's like kind of like it's weird. It's hard to explain, but you just look into their eyes and you see it, and it's time for them to go. You're gonna get them out of there.
Yeah.
Next few shots is gonna be it. And it's done. So
now we're in the beginning of the 10th. It's the last round, right? And you're neck and neck on the cards, right? It's a split decision on the cards, and you got one more round to do it. What are you thinking of when that bell rings and you stand up? Like, are you exhausted? Like, where do you get your tank from? Like you've done now, 9 3-minute rounds at full gas. Like, you're out of gas now, right? How do you muster up the ability to go in that last round and try to eke out that win?
If I'm like dead tired, no matter what, I would just create it. It's gonna come from somewhere. I'm gonna. No matter, especially like if I know it's really close and I know that's the last round, I'm going to just go out there and just punch. I don't care how tired I am. Like, I'm going to come out swinging and just be the better guy, And as, with Rocky, he always says to us that we have to get stronger as rounds go on. So our first round, right, will be sharp, and then we keep going. We just get even sharper, faster, stronger, smarter. So then that last round, we always come out like the first round, as if we just started the fight. And we're going to be as sharp as we can be, as technical as we can be. We're going to punch as hard as we can punch and be as fast as we can be. It's just, we just create it. And that's what we're known for. We just create it. And if you see all the fighters that Rocky does have and Carlos does have, like, that's what we're known for, like grit. Like every time we go to fight, people know it's going to be a fight. They know it's going to be a war because we're not going to let you get us. It's not going to happen. So we just keep going.
It's that internal governor that you talk about. David Goggins, you follow him? I follow him a lot, actually. He talks about the internal governor, and when you get to be exhausted, your brain is trying to protect you and say, you got to slow down, buddy. But you've only used up like 40% of what you got. There's 60% left in the tank, and the people who win have the ability to just turn it off and disable that governor, and you have 60% more.
Yep.
So I think that's telling. Like, I've certainly been in some times where I've been trying to do a program or whatever, and like I feel exhausted, but you got to be able to turn off that governor.
Got to fight through.
Yeah.
Bob, you've picked up on it right away. I've always seen it, the focus that this guy has.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I would not want to touch gloves with you, bud.
No
way.
But what I'm thinking, I've never boxed, and 3 minutes sounds like a long time. The crowd, everybody's yelling your name. But you get coaching throughout the fight, and Rocky's voice is going in the background. Do you hear what he says? How do you block out everybody else's noise? In the midst of putting in a workout, Can you explain that process?
Yeah. So as in the beginning, right, as you're fighting, it's hard to do that. With no experience, it's hard to do that. Like you hear everybody in the crowd yelling, like, "Hey, yeah, get him, go blue, go blue," whatever corner you're in, and everybody's just yelling all these different things. In the beginning, it's hard to kind of concentrate on what the things you need to hear, and as you get more experienced, you understand on what you really need to do, and your mind just kicks in where. Your coach is yelling something, you'll realize his voice. I only register his voice. I'll hear some things in the crowd, but it's mainly what he's telling me. That's the first thing that registers. So that's the first thing in my head that picks up. And usually when he tells me that, it's right away. I do it as soon as he tells me because I don't want anybody else to pick up on it, right? If you give that split second, because it's very instantaneous, that split second of, if he says double jab, and then I'm waiting, and then finally do double jab. The guy might slip or block it or whatever, right?
Yeah, because you heard it too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Double jab. Oh, I threw it right then. That's it. As soon as he says it, I'm doing it. Because he sees the things that I don't see, the things that I don't notice, right? He might be dropping his hand a certain way. Or he might be, leaving his hand down when he punches. When he jabs, he might bring his hand down so I can counter or whatever it is. And when you do that instantaneously, right away, as soon as you hear it, it usually lands. It usually works.
So you go back to the corner, and you're pretty tired. May have taken some lumps, handed out some lumps. It's a minute, right?
Yes, it's a minute break.
A minute where you gotta take it in and go back out. What's that process like?
Your coach. So if your coach is a good coach, right, great coach, Rocky, one of the best, they give you that first 10 seconds, 15 seconds, breathe. Slow breathing, take a deep breath, give you your water, in and out, in and out, in and out. Might put water on your back, and you get that breath. Then, once he sees your breathing's kind of calm down a little bit, then he starts talking to you okay, you got to do this, you got to pick up on this. This is what I seen. Realize this. You need to be faster this area, punch harder here, catch him with this. And that's when it registers. Because as soon as I go to the corner, if he's sit me down and yelling stuff to me, I'm tired. So,
it's not
or I'm kind of I might not be tired, but I might be gassed out. I'm breathing heavy. And now it's just he's saying it and I'm not hearing it because I'm trying to catch my breath. But, it gives you that 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and then starts giving you the information you need. And then you go back out there and do your thing.
All right, see, Carlos, Rocky Gonzalez, Edwin Rodriguez. It's like the three legs of the tripod. You talked about what Rocky and Carlos bring to the table. What was Edwin Style? And how did you make that all work together?
Edwin Style, just grit. He's another grit. He's like me. I love, or I'm like him technically because he did it first. And he just grit. He'll just break you down. Just keep going, and doesn't slow down. And that's how I am. I'll tire the person out. I'll get them gassed out because I'm fast. I have quick hands and quick feet. People say that I move like a lightweight and I'm at cruiserweight. So I would just tire you out, angles, stuff like that you can't see, and eventually just grit. So he's just grit and grind. That's what I've seen out of him. He's always grinding, always working hard, and that was another big influence in my life to I need to do the same thing. I got to grit, work.
Bob, we've asked him some heavy questions coming out. I have a real tough one.
Go for it.
Who's your favorite boxer? And who is there boxing that you try to emulate that you want that grown up? You're like, I want to fight like him. And that might be too different.
Some of the best. I love Evander Holyfield because he's another grit.
Oh yeah.
He'd just stay on you, But for technicality and speed, I love Roy Jones. Roy Jones Jr.
Sure. He's got flair too.
Oh,
right?
he was his finesse was just amazing. Style, speed, agility, everything. And I'm like, wow, this guy is amazing. I want to be like that,
Listen, I just saw on social media. This is one of your flex moments. You have a picture with Evander Holyfield.
I saw it too, actually. Yeah,
well, I was like, whoa, what was that like?
It was amazing. I mean, to meet one of my, idols at a young age, I was in that picture. I believe I was 14, 15.
Amazing.
So this was right after I started boxing. So I boxing, competing, and then winning and traveling. And he was actually the one, because I think that was the silver gloves. It was a national tournament of all the champions. And he was the one who put the medal on me. And I was like,
amazing.
wow. I'm looking at this man put the medal on me, the gold medal. And I'm like,
That's like a dream.
yeah, I was like, wow, like, shaking hands with him, talking with him and stuff. Amazing. He's an amazing guy. And I met him twice. So I met him for that. And then there was another thing I went to. It was another tournament of champions that I was winning. And I was like, oh, remember that time we took a picture? He's like, yeah, I remember you.
Isn't it amazing when a celebrity remembers that
Yeah,
stuff?
I know.
That's so cool.
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah. So
cool. I know, Dennis, you've had a bunch of experiences with celebrities, as have I, and I'm always still starstruck, even though I've met so many over the years.
Who have you gotten starstruck? Who's the one that stopped you in your tracks?
Oh, Gene Simmons, for sure. Gene Simmons, a kiss.
Myself,
sure. I couldn't actually talk to him.
I
I was just like, it's like dumb.
Myself, James Gandolfini. I was down at Foxwoods, and they had, like, I think it was their 7th year reunion, and they were sitting at the table like it was a Sopranos, and it was one of those moments like, wow. I couldn't even talk. It was insane.
Yeah, pretty cool. So, Joey, let me ask you. I ask everybody this: what for you to go up every day, and you haven't, there might be stretches where you're not training well, you're tired, maybe you're not even sparring well. Everybody has got those times, right? What keeps you going when you're sore, tired? What's your compelling reason why you do this? Why in your gut do you every day get up and want to be a champ? Because I'm assuming you want to be a world champ, right?
Definitely.
We talked about that earlier, so that was kind of a cheat, but why do you do it every day? That compelling reason why. I think that's part of, getting to anyone's apex is they have to have that reason why for when it's a slog, right? For when it doesn't, when you're just too tired to do it and don't want to do it and you have to do it anyway. Like you have to go out for your second run, of the day and you're just like, I'm done. What's your compelling reason why?
My compelling reason, one, is to be a world champion, of course,
right.
as we talked about. And two, I want to showcase. I love showcasing my skills. I'm an athlete, right? So I love to show the world. I want to show the world something different. I want to show them that, I am different than everybody else, a unique way. And it's just like that in terms of like grit too. Like I'm just a gritty person. I just love like doing stuff that is very intense. So like boxing, very intense. And no matter what, like I just want to be the best version of myself. Like I want to be the best me that I can possibly be. And to do the extra work, if it is, getting up in the morning, running, and then run again after whatever I'm done, like work or whatever it is, I just love to do it. I love it. I'm a gritty person, so I just love those things.
You embrace the suck.
Yeah, I embrace it. Like, because if you can embrace the suck, right, it's just gonna make you so much better. Because even when you're like, say if I'm tired and I'm grinding, I'm hitting the bag or whatever it is, or I'm double working out. And if I'm doing that good, imagine when I'm at my full capacity. Right. I'll just be 10 times better, like, and to be able to do that, that's what Rocky always says too. Like, again, when we're tired, he wants us to be as sharp as we can be. That's the time. Now you start boxing. You're tired. Now you start working. Now you start being real sharp. And that's what we kind of like, that's what we hone, that's what we keep as our own. And to be the best version of ourselves.
Yeah, one of the things that I love is when I get up at 5 a.m. or 4:30 in the morning and go outside and it's cold and snowing and I still do my run or my ruck and everybody's still sleeping. For me, it gives me power to think, you know what, you guys are all sleeping and I'm out here doing this. It makes me feel like a little bit of a badass. Nothing like a boxer, right? But it's just my version of that, I think. And I relish the fact that I go out there and embrace the suck. So I 100% relate to what you're saying.
Bob, that ties in. I was just thinking of something, and you said that, and it validated what I was just going to ask Demek. Nobody's watching you at 5 a.m. There's nobody outside. Are there moments, and does this help make you where you're at the gym, you're hitting the bag, nobody knows what you're doing. You can dog it, you can kind of take your time, but knowing nobody's watching you or pushing you, what keeps you going? And is that something that you've always had that motor to keep going in those situations?
Yeah, that's it. The 100% grit. I love it. That's what I do. And you because a lot of fighters, right? They might be fighting, training or whatever, but most times they do the best at what they work the hardest when somebody's watching them. Never. Like Carlos never had to tell me, oh, you have to be in the gym. You have to do this. You have to do this. Rocky never told, oh, you have to go train here. Do this, do this. Oh, why aren't you training? Like, it's always that, like, I don't care who's watching me. I just want to be the best version of myself. So I'm going to make it so, like, I'm getting up doing that extra work in the morning. You're not watching me. I might be doubling up on the bag, tripling up on the bag, doing 8 rounds, 12 rounds. And then, nobody's watching me. Like weekends, I'm going, sometimes I go 6, 7 days a week to the gym, and normally it's only like, 4 days a week that Rocky will do the class. And then Friday I'll go. And then sometimes I take breaks, but I'll be in the gym weekends. I'll go to the gym ahead of time, like run in the morning, do my workouts in the morning, sauna. Then at night, the evening, I go to the boxing gym, do that. And they're not watching me. Nobody's realizing like, what you're doing, but it's about what you do behind closed doors that makes you great.
You're doing the work. Folks, like that's why he's a 7-time champion, amateur champion, and he's 9-0 as a professional.
Doesn't happen by accident.
That's the reason. He's put the work in, and I'm talking to all of you at home. Like, he put the work in. That's what it takes. Amazing.
It's not accidental.
No.
There's no way.
No, for sure. For sure. I'm just totally impressed by your story. I'm totally impressed by you and the way you carry yourself. I'm impressed by, the work that you do with the kids that you work with. You want to talk about us about what you're actually doing on your day job a little bit? Because it's really pretty awesome.
Yeah, so I'm a teacher, and I teach high schoolers. I work with high schoolers. I'm a business teacher, so I'm teaching, these students about, the world, like, what's going on in certain areas, how to deal with the economy, what you need to do, savings, budgeting, all that stuff, like stuff that they're going to need.
Stuff you didn't get as a kid.
Oh, yeah, no, I learned these things in college, right? But, these kids need to know it because it's stuff that's going to help them in the long run.
It'll help them survive and be successful for sure.
Exactly.
I think that's an awesome kind of thing. And so, is there a Mrs. Joey Edmonds?
Nope, there's not one yet. Joey Edmonds. I'm single, so I'm not. I'm just mainly just focused on the grind. Like I just want, again, the best version of myself. If it happens to come along, it does. But
ladies, he is focused. He's focused on
Absolutely.
becoming a world champion.
Yeah,
so
world champion status.
Don't go, slipping into his DMs or anything, So.
But yeah, no, I'm again like the grind. I'm always grinding. I literally haven't really taken a break from boxing. Just eventually, I'm gonna start doing the vacation time. But that's like
after the work is done.
When it's done, when that work is completed, then you can afford to do that. But right now, you got to just keep moving and just keep grinding. That's.
So I'm gonna ask you a question, and you can maybe decline to answer if you want. You're an incredible boxer. What does it take? Tell me. This is probably a little bit controversial, right? Mm-hmm. We didn't discuss this beforehand, so you can put the brakes on if you want. Can you speak to how it is to try to get some of the better, matches, like the higher ranks, and how to move up in the ranks in professional boxing? Or is that something you don't really want to talk about?
Oh no, we can. It's a process. It's really a process, and it's patience. Because there's always something going on, right? Like, you might show up. A guy doesn't want to show up to fight you. They might pull out, right? Or they're like,
why do you think that is? Like, that's the
intimidated.
Thing, right?
They're intimidated, right? Threat.
Yeah. Because they want to cherry pick the fights, right?
Exactly.
Because they want their record to be good, right?
Exactly.
They're like, I don't know if I want to give this guy a chance because it may make my ranking go down.
Right.
So there's a little bit of politics, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah. And you just for all fighters, I say the same thing. It's a process. You just have to work and keep grinding. It's gonna happen eventually. Just moving up in the ranks. It's good. It takes just a lot of time. It takes a lot of time, and it's a process because people, again, try to dodge you. They don't want to fight you. Somebody will show up, and then all of a sudden now they can't fight you because of some excuse, or they don't show up, or, they just pull out. Like, say the fight might be set up, and then all of a sudden, the day of, like, they don't want to come, and, and most times it'll be like a last-minute fill-in. They'll try to get somebody to fill in, but...
That you weren't able to prepare for.
Exactly. It's a whole different person. So you got to just be ready. You got to be ready. You never know.
Bob, you and I talk about mental toughness.
Yeah.
Being mental, how does your mental toughness help you? And I'm listening to your training sessions and the blood, sweat, and tears that you put in to get ready for a fight, and then you show up and it's not happening. How do you deal with that? Because you've dealt with a lot of obstacles. How do you deal with that? to still continue to keep your focus and get ready for the next fight?
Again, it does stem from like beginning. I just the way that the obstacles were in front of me, I just knew that greatness is gonna come, better is gonna come. So with the same thing, same mentality. If the guy that I was supposed to fight pulls out, maybe I'll get a better opportunity. And and it does happen sometimes. There's a few fights that might be coming up soon. I might be hinting fighting at Mohegan Sun. So
oh yeah, why don't you?
Let's hear it a little
yeah,
bit.
that's something different from what you were telling us earlier. What's going on with that?
But yes, I might be fighting on the show Mohegan Sun. It's going to be cleared up soon, April 6th. So
Nice.
that'll be
Road
nice.
trip.
Road trip.
That'll be nice to get on there.
We're going to be
Yeah.
sitting in the Joey Edmonds corner, and
Yeah, but from what a little birdie I know told me that this is a different type of fight. It's not like a regular, 3-12 round. Do you want to explain what
So
this is about?
this is a tournament. It's like you get together as a team. Like there's different divisions, right, in weight classes, and you get together as a team, and you go and you travel to fight other people, and you win. So if you win your fight, right, it's only one round. So that's the kick. It's one round, right? 3
So,
minutes, one round. So you're
all
going
out.
all out.
Yeah.
You're going all out, and if you win, say if you knock the guy out, right? It's a 10-7 round. So you'll get the 10 points, they'll get the 7. If you like drop them 10-8, and if you just win regularly by decision, right? 10-9, and you compete with the other team, and collectively your team scores, those points. So if I get a 10-9, right? Say if I win 10-9 round, so I have 10, then another person wins 10-9 round, we got 20, and then we're beating another team. At the end of the event, if we have the most points, we win, and we collectively go to places and we fight other teams. And at the end, there's gonna do it's like a final thing where we're gonna
like a battle royale.
yeah,
Boxing.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
that's
So
cool.
it's gonna be good. It's gonna be real good. I'm pretty excited to
Fantastic,
do it.
man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So let me ask you, where can they find you on social?
Social, you can find me at Hightower 892 for my IG, and then on Facebook it's just Joey Edmonds, and I don't have any others really right now, so that's all I use.
First of all, if you're a young boxer and you are looking for a way to approach a sport, you've heard it. This is a great lesson here. Tell us what advice you'd give to a young boxer. In looking back at yourself, you may have given that advice to yourself at that age. What would that advice be?
Put in the time and the work. It takes time to be great. It's not an instant, gratuity feeling, right? It's not like one day you'll train and then you're gonna be the best boxer, and it takes a lot of work, dedication, effort, right? And it's what you're doing behind closed doors. So people are not gonna always be watching you. But if you're going to the gym and nobody's watching you, hitting the bag, little, lazy, not really doing your stuff, you're not gonna be great. You have to put in the work to be great. So to the younger or up and coming boxers, that's what I say. Just put in the work, the time and the effort, and do your work and your homework and all that stuff, and you can get to where you want to be. You just got to work through it.
You got to do the work. We say it all the time. It's up on the billboard right behind you there, Dennis. So with that, thank you so much for coming in. This is a career to follow, guys. If you're into boxing or any other thing, go follow him on socials. Again, one more time for the crowd.
IG Hightower 892, and then for Facebook, Joey Edmonds.
Nice. So it's been a distinct pleasure to have you in here. I think you're an amazing guy. I think you have an amazing story. And I think, the viewers, they're going to really love to see this. And you really should follow Joey's career. I think he's an up-and-comer, and we're going to see nothing but great things coming from you. And Dennis.
Listen, Joey, I've known you for a long time. And as I said, you're still that positive guy. You're going to be a champion. You've been a multiple champion. You're going to be that professional champion. And this is our first episode this is an amazing interview to start out with. There's only one phrase I got to say. It's go time.
It's go time. All right, guys, thanks.